What's up, guys and gals? Your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for Ayakashi Triangle, chapter 100! Yeah, baby! Chapter 100. We've reached it. We've reached an official chapter 100. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever... No, I don't think... Maybe. Yona the Dawn. I think I was reviewing Yona the Dawn back when chapter 100 came out. Maybe not. This may or may not be my first time starting. It's definitely my first time. I reviewed chapter goddamn 1, and now 100 videos later, well, roughly, because I did some double chapters, but 100 chapters later, we have reviewed every chapter. Starting from chapter 1. Is the series anything to write home about? No, 6 out of 10 at best. But we're still here. We're still doing it, right? So, anyways, is chapter 100 great? Is it a milestone chapter? Once again, I told you guys back in chapter 99, no, it's not. And the argument, other than certain mangakas, a couple of mangakas like to make chapter 100, 200, 300 important. Other ones don't give a shit. So, in this particular instance, I think we can all agree that this chapter is pretty good. It's got the Ichi moment at the beginning, and I'm just like, nah, whatever. I don't really care for Ryo as a character, so I don't really care about that part. But is this an interesting chapter? Is it a good chapter? Yeah, I would say so. Wouldn't you guys? I would say so. Overall, I think that this the idea that Une, the mirror, is actually had more power back in the day, and this isn't an asshole. Like, originally you could say, oh, we just need of course, superpower. No. This actually isn't an asshole, because we heard from Shirogane himself, we've heard multiple times in the story, since the beginning of the series, that nowadays people are less and less believing in shit because of science, right? Like, that's the deal. Things are explained away more. So all of a sudden we have Une, who is right now a mirror from the red light district, but before, when people believed in spirits and ghosts and demons more heavily, when the old magic, when the old Ayakashi energy was abundant in the land, this type of shit was happening, right? So she was much more powerful back then, and she even says, back then I was a mirror used in the big red light district in Edo, in the Edo region. Like, that's a big place, the red light district, and Roku asks about it. She asks about it and stuff like that. And that idea, when basically all that happened was, and apparently the wall thing, that must be a very famous folktale or something, because remember the dog wall thingy from last chapter? And I was complaining about it, and apparently it's very famous or something like that. Once again, I'm not familiar with the myths, but the reason Matsuri is there with Ryo is to get, and Roka and Une are there. They were just going for a stroll around town, but they accompanied Matsuri to Ryo was because he needs to repair his ninja gear after a sneeze from the dog wall fucking blew it apart, and it's like, holy shit, well... So well-known Ayakashi really are that powerful, says Ryo. So apparently this must be sort of like, I don't know, Dr. Seuss green eggs and ham sort of idea. It's like, holy shit, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. If you see one of those, or, is it the Bloody Mary equivalent? Is it, spin around 3 times, Bloody Mary in the mirror, she appears. One of those things. Is it something like that? Is it like a really old children's tale, like one of the more famous ones or something, and that's why it was so strong? Maybe. But anyways, going back to what we were talking about, is that Une somehow, all of a sudden, like, they're bustling around and talking about things, and all of a sudden, she doesn't want to tell Roka, of course, about the red light district. And I mean, to be fair, she's a child, so that's a fair deal. But what happens here is she all of a sudden gets, like, corrupted. Like, all of a sudden it's corruption. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? Ryo and Matsuri both sense it, and it's a really strong Ayakashi energy, and boom, transforms Une into her female, she's got the pipe, she looks like from XXXholic, and stuff like that. She's got the classic Japanese, like, the courtesan, the prostitutes, right? The madams of the red light district and stuff. She's got the smoking pipe, she got the whole bit. And actually a very interesting design. I like it. And I never expected this, but it sort of makes sense that the Ayakashi necessarily that are like little tanukis and these little pots and stuff, maybe at one time they were these bigger, humanoid, powerful Ayakashi, but as people stop believing, as the red light district fell and stuff, as things go into ruin, as we saw with Shirogane, less and less people believe, the less power you have. It's sort of like elf Santa Claus thing. There's no Christmas spirit anymore, that kind of idea. So she recognizes everyone and she knows who everybody is. She goes, I'm Une. Une, the Gaikyo. Gaikyo? I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but she's not like turned evil and forgotten everybody. She remembers because she says, oh, Roka, that's who I am. And Roka says, are you really? Though for some reason she says, how horrible. I don't know why, but are you really? I don't get the how horrible line. I don't know if that's mistranslated. And Une says, seems like the Ayakashi power that I got back, blah, blah, blah. And then boom, all of a sudden she's got this headache and stuff. And then she's like, oh, and then her eyes all of a sudden start to blacken, like the whites of her eyes start to get the dark things. And she goes, I must get rid of the Ayakashi medium. And boom, she attacks Matsuri and Ryo and saying there's no point trying to stop me, Matsuri. So she's still, even though she's corrupted, she still has all her memories, but whatever transformed her has turned her back. And so the plot thickens. What is transforming these Ayakashi? So chapter 100 is a good chapter for the fact that we're moving forward with that plot line. Remember, the plot line hasn't been solved yet. Who is transforming? Who is corrupting these Ayakashi, giving them a tremendous amount of power and allowing them to rampage and become corrupted? What is happening here? So Roka is, of course, very upset by this. We see Suzu and Shirogane lying around sort of idea, but then, of course, they're zapped into the mirror world, and Shirogane has to take a shot because she's been completely corrupted. Shirogane recognizes this almost instantly. They're stuck in the mirror world, but the red light district, and she said, it's a dear old place of mine back in my glory days. So they're back in the Edo period and this was, the prostitute hall, the courtesan hall, that kind of idea. And it's called an Ayakashi Jutsu. It's reflected past or reflected, is it reflected past or mirror past? Anyways, something like that. And she decides to attack Suzu, and Shirogane jumps in front of it because he's actually a good-natured Ayakashi. We all know it. The king of the Ayakashi is no slouch to sacrificing himself for the good of the people. So, very interesting chapter. I wouldn't call it a milestone chapter. I wouldn't call it a milestone chapter. Would have been them finally consummating their relationship, or like Suzu and Matsuri. I don't know if we'll ever see that, but it is what it is. Or Matsuri finally breaking the jutsu. Shirogane returning to full power. Finding out who is behind all this. Big moments. Not that this wasn't a good chapter, but is it a milestone chapter? Chapter 100 is absolutely a milestone, but is the events in the chapter milestone within universe? I don't think so. But anyways, that's the chapter, guys. I liked it. What did you guys think? I thought it was a very good chapter. I actually really enjoyed this chapter for the most part. I didn't really care for the starting. We didn't hit the ground running at the beginning of the chapter. Not a big Ryo fan, and the over excessive need for the Ichi. Like Ichi can be done in very good taste. Then it can be done just for the sake of it. This particular moment was the sake of it. But overall, I like this chapter. I thought it was a good chapter. Chapter 100, no slouch. But what did you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Fourth and most importantly, don't forget to drink, but responsibly, as I always do. We'll see you guys back here next time for Ayakashi Triangle Chapter 101. Let's go. I have been reviewing this series since chapter goddamn 1. I'm actually really excited to hit triple digits. Even though the videos don't do very well, I'm not going to stop now. I've made almost 100 videos on this series. I don't see the reason to not make 100 more. So, we'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye.